at McPherson College. He was short and he could run fast. And those big guys would block and give him the ball and he'd get to run with it. And so he was the one that got to make a lot of touchdowns, which made him happy.
Yeah.
You know that.
So he was a running back or something like that.
I can't remember what position, but I do know that he was the one that got the ball and got to run with it.
Yeah.
The big guys would block. Anyway, he and another guy would come to Wichita and get Dorothy and I while we were going to beauty school. So we got to come up on a Saturday night or Friday night usually to watch them play ball, and then if it was Friday night, then we got to stay over the weekend. You know, we didn't have to go to school on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so that always was nice that they'd come and get us. And I can't remember who Dorothy was going with at that time, but evidently he found her a boyfriend too. So it was always nice that we got to come back for the ball game. Evidently, if it was away from Mac, I doubt that we came. I can't remember that far back now, but I know we did get to come for a lot of those. But anyway, he went about, I can't remember what, a few months, but it was sounding like they were going to start drafting more. And he decided, rather than to be drafted, after he'd gone to college about, I imagine he went about a year. He decided that rather than to get to be drafted, he went ahead and enlisted. So it wasn't very long until he got sent overseas. And from then on, it was rough for him. I think right at the very beginning, he only had to go to the Philippines and helped them put some of the planes together.
Mm-hmm.
And then that bad place was when they sent him over into New Guinea. That was the one that gave that man the nightmares as long as he lived. And the guy standing over him with a gun and him loading up him, so sick with that malaria and looking up at that Jap and that gun, he'd get his legs to go on so many times in the night thinking that he was running. But how both of them knew if they shot, there was still other Japs or other white, for whichever one it was. The Jap knew he probably wouldn't have much of a chance.
Yeah.
Him down in there knew he wouldn't have much of a chance. So anyway, that was the one thing that he could see for so long, was that Jap looking down at him with a gun and him laying there looking up at that Jap with a gun. Each kept wondering, are you going to shoot or should I shoot? And they neither one shot. So that must have been something to know they were that close together the way it was over there.
Yeah, it must have been really scary.
It had to have been. And I don't know how in the world they ever got to eat much over there the way it sounded.
Yeah.
It just seemed unbelievable. I guess they had probably some canned food of some kind that they could open. But I don't imagine they had much of a way to heat their food or cook anything over there. I don't. It just sounded pretty rough. But,
so what year did you graduate high school? Was 39 or 40?
let's see what year. I graduated, I was 39.
1939.
Born in 22, graduated 39. I would have been about 17, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to work in Wichita, and I worked about a half a day, and my mama came to get me because she found me a job in McPherson. So I didn't even get any money for a half a day I'd worked. We just packed up what I had and hauled it down, and I went to work in Mac. So I got to work there for several years till I put it in over in Galvin, and first in that barber shop and then the folks' basement. So I had a shop then for about, I guess altogether I probably worked 40 years, but 20 all, you know, when you figure out maybe a year here, the one shop in Mac, I probably worked there for about a year, I guess. It was a nice big shop. And there were about 4 of us that worked in there. That was a good place to work. And then after that, then I got married, so then I had my shop in
How did you meet Austin?
What year?
How did you meet him?
He had worked for Tom and Tom and Eve, no, not Tom and Eve. The people that had the propane business. They were good friends of my mom and dad's. Like this moment, I'm trying to think what their names were. They don't want to come to me. I want to say Tom and yeah, that's not it. But anyway, the people that had the propane business, they had had him before, and when he was going to come back, he was going to drive for them when he got out of service, propane truck again.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he came to see these friends of mom and dad's, and they were going to take him back to, well, not Wichita, out in Colorado, someplace in Colorado. They were going to take him back to the place he had to go back to report. And they asked Mom and I to go with them. And so we did. So they still had a girl at home. So there were 6 of us. Austin and I don't know, I can't think of that couple's name, save my soul. And their girl Peggy, I can think of that. The girl's name was Peggy. And my mom and I went with them. I don't know how come they asked us to go, but how come we went, I don't know, but we did. So, anyway, when we were out there, the one thing that Peggy and Austin and I did, that we were at a place where they had rides, you know, kind of a carnival thing.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I remember we took one of those rides that you went up and down, you know. So he had sat between us with his arms around us, and he got started. He'd reach over and kind of give me a little kiss on the forehead or something. Then it kind of began like that he kind of got attached or attracted to me some way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny through the time. So anyway, then later on he got transferred to Great Bend. And then he got a car, and then he started coming over because I was working in Mac. So, and then he had a sister that lived out in the country there, that Rosalie,
Mm-hmm.
that he could go stay all night with her. But anyway, that we came and got to dating that way. But anyway, it was something else how it all started. But I have not, I still had Farrell's engagement ring, and he had sent $100, and we went to meet him when he got off of the train in Wichita, and took him back up home with us, and he was a nervous wreck. It was terrible. He just sat there with one of those knives that you pushed a button and it'd flip out all the time, you know, and he couldn't hardly carry a decent conversation with you. It was terrible. Anyway, I ended up calling his dad and talked to him about it, and they came up and got him. They were down in Texas. His dad was working in an oil field, but they came back up here and got him then. And I don't know, it just, his dad tried so hard to get him to get out of the service. He start pumping up oil wells, what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness Farrell was smart enough. He said, no, they took 5 years out of my life, so they can just take care of me now for 15. And then he was smart enough, he decided he'd send him to school. And he got his college education them last 15 years then, to put in the 20. And he had gone to 7 different colleges altogether, wherever they sent him. And I think one of the worst ones, and I guess after they're in a while, they do everything they can to try to get the guys to go out so they don't have to pay the retirement years.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he didn't. That's what I got a lot of stuff for today.
Yeah.
But anyway, it had ended up, he went to 7 different colleges and he was able to teach school, and he had enough that he ended up being a principal most all the time from that. So at least he decided and came up with enough brains that he made it work out right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But it like I said, the way he had come back, and then I had been dating Austin. I hadn't married him, and anyway, after that episode, we did get together after that, and then, like I said, he got stationed at Great Bend, and he got a car, and then he got coming over to Galvin, get to see me on weekends, and stay at his sisters and stuff. So it ended up that I did marry him after a while, and I did, and it was ironic after so many years that we did get back together.
Yeah.
He, someplace where he taught school, he had married a lady that was teaching also, and then by that time I had married and had my home where I am now, and so we were getting our class back together again, and he came and he had this different wife, but by the time he came, my second husband that I only had for 5 years, when he died, he built me the house and then died. So when he came back, and it wasn't very long until he got rid of that wife. And he was back up at my folks and called me. And so it kept going a little while after that till we got married. But it was kind of strange after so many years getting back together.
Yeah.
Just like anyway, we had about 35 years. Ron and, what was that gal's name that he was married to quite a while with?
Janice.
Janice. Yeah. Anyway, it was nice out when we were out there, Ron and Janice's too. But they were happy. They ended up being happy for a little while, and it didn't seem like it was long enough. But anyway, we ended up with 35 years, which is kind of strange after all the episodes in between.
Yeah.
Made quite a story out of it.
Where did you live when you and Austin got married?
Well, we first lived in a little house that was right across where my house is now. And they didn't have part of it built on. It was just a little long house at that time. And it was there that I got pregnant, in that house. Okay, then we bought the house up on the other corner that was right across from